I have a fan favorite here. You are definitely a fan favorite, Vincent. Vincent is back with us. He did an episode earlier. Today was Vincent's second day of med school orientation. I'm so excited. Okay, tell us how med school orientation has been.
It's been surreal and a
Hmm.
lot of overload of information.
Were
Um,
you nervous like going into it, or were you more excited?
so I feel a lot of emotions, and so
Hmm.
there's that excitement, but also fear because I'm in a new state and
Hmm.
I'm going to a medical school where I know no one,
Hmm.
and there's 340 people in my class, so walking into the auditorium day one
Oh my
was
God.
a shock for me. And how do you meet people when it's just so overwhelming?
Wait, I do have a question.
Yes.
When you walked into that auditorium the first day of med school orientation yesterday,
Yeah.
did you feel like looking around, did you feel like people already knew each other? Or like how does that work?
Yes. People are already, I'm gonna be honest, already in their cliques, and I'm like, how is this happening? I honestly reminded me of nursing school because people already
Yes.
formed their cliques and they already knew each other. I
How
was
do people
warned.
know each other?
I think it's because people went to like the student acceptance second look
Uh-huh.
opportunity for the medical school, and they got the chance to like meet each other
Hmm.
2 months ago. So I came in not knowing anyone, and I had to work a lot harder, to be honest. Yesterday was very tiring for me because I'm very
Hmm.
introverted, and so being more open and bubbly was just draining for me in general, even though that is my personality.
Hmm.
Um, because all of my efforts before medical school was on research and making connections within my dream specialty. So I did
Hmm.
that versus making connections with my classmates. And so now I'm playing catch up.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I bet you there's like so many of your classmates out there that feel the same way because you have no idea too. Like, okay, so when I'm looking back on
Yeah.
dental school, I felt the same way because
Okay.
everyone knew each other from like pre-dental clubs. Everyone knew each other from there were a lot of like master's programs that people did before going into
Mhm.
dental school. So I feel like a lot of the people like knew each other from the same master. So I walked into that auditorium and I was like, "Oh my God, everyone's already best friends." Now that I've gone through the school process and I look back on what relationships and who was talking to who, I'm like, they weren't even friends. Like it was like someone had met someone for 2 seconds in an interview and but when you're so new, when everyone's so new, you
Mhm.
latch onto the only person you know. And so they're like, oh my
Mhm.
God, like, hey bestie. They like spent like had a conversation up the elevator together, you know?
Yeah.
So if I can offer you anything, I'm willing to bet you those like relationships you see like are literally like nothing, but in our heads we psych ourselves out so we're like everyone's already best friends. Like how do these people all
Yeah.
know each other? Like I promise you like so much of it is surface level in the beginning.
You know, orientation in general is so tiring. It's actually more
Yes.
tiring and taxing than actually learning the biochemistry or like the Krebs cycle for the 19th time.
What are you first so excited for the first semester of med school?
I'm just genuinely so grateful that I get to study. And that sounds so nerdy and lame, but this is what I've worked so hard for the past few years. And I get to finally learn and understand how things work at a molecular level.
Hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, I am a prior ICU nurse. And so a lot of things that I didn't understand why I was doing it. And now I finally get to fill in those gaps and understand why. And to be a physician. It's
Oh my
exciting.
gosh, that's so cute. It's like it's been so surreal to like watch your journey because I feel like, well, one, I see a lot of like my journey in yourself also, but just to see like the courage that it took, because like I know like how much bravery it takes to put out there that you're trying something. Like it's so much easier to
Yeah.
post like, "Hey guys, I got into med school" after the fact, but you were posting about it like as you were going through it. And so like you shared like all of your like ups and downs of like the MCAT and like the like you just shared so much so I feel like so inspired in a way by like your like vulnerability with the whole thing. So just like keep going because like it's just so beautiful to see.
That means a lot to me because actually a lot of people called me out on not being authentic.
Wait, what
Actually,
people? Who are you talking about? Wait, what did they look at your page?
I guess it's just because of my bubbly nature in general, and
Oh,
just
yes.
I do tend to romanticize things that I love, but that doesn't mean that it's like
like
I bet.
inauthentic.
Yeah,
No, you and I get the
inauthentic.
same backlash. I
Yeah.
hear the same shit about like my. Well, actually, I don't even hear it because like I'm not like cool enough to even hear it. Like I don't think people enough care enough about me to be talking shit.
To be honest, to open up a little bit more, the past week moving here to Tennessee, I've cried every single day.
Oh
Actually,
my gosh.
yesterday was a lot better, but I
Hmm.
it's not easy. Yes, I haven't been posting as much of me crying. I think I want to post that later. I just want to get
Hmm.
settled into medical school, but I've been
Hmm.
crying. I ended a career. I
Mm. Yeah,
I'm in
walk
a
us
new
through all of the
state.
emotions, like why you're crying. So the end of nursing, Vincent.
So I was recently an ICU nurse, and I went travel nursing for the past 6 months, and I ended it in June. And I never like dealt with it. I just ended it, and then I moved on, and I was on the next thing. Let's do some research, or let's put my mind on something else because I didn't want to feel kind of the emotions of leaving nursing. And
Mm.
I feel sad. It's a career that I invested so much time into, and I never got to grieve. So I didn't get
Mm.
to grieve on ending a career. I was leaving my parents. I was leaving the Pacific Northwest, which I actually felt in love with that region. And so it was just everything happening at once, just
Mm.
ending, and I'm starting anew, which is I'm grateful for, but it doesn't mean I'm human at the end of the day. And so those
Mm-hmm.
are my emotions. I would cry, I would laugh, and I'm like, one moment I'm like, yeah, I'm studying medicine, and the next I'm like, oh my God, I'm alone. And I have no friends either because I had those thoughts just because I did. So I went back home to Florida. I woke up at 3 a.m. on last Friday to drive all the way to Tennessee, which is around 8 hours. I did that all alone. I moved in, I set up my bed, everything all alone. And that's like like you feel lonely. And then you have this
Mm.
stress of med school. Am I even smart enough to even study medicine? Because as you get closer, you start anticipating. You're like, oh my, okay, this is real. And then they tell you, okay, you gotta get your ducks in a row because if you don't study well, you're gonna fail out. So it's all those emotions that no one talks about. And we talked about
Mm-hmm.
this before, the in between or the becoming. These
Mm. Mm-hmm.
transitions, no one ever talks about these things. And eventually I want to open up more about the transition because it's like, yay, you got into medical school. You're amazing. Okay. But no one understands what's going on behind closed doors
Right.
and the emotions and how hard it is actually to transition to a new career.
I was just talking with my sister about this, about how oftentimes the thing that you cry so much about wanting, once it's time to embark on that, you cry because you're like, wait, I'm like not ready to leave yet. Because then you're like, wait, now I have to do the thing. Is that like how
Yeah.
you were feeling?
Yes, I feel everything that you just said. It was exactly what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, huh, I have to go through 4 years of med school now and
Right.
residency, and I have to give up basically everything to study. So
Mm.
that freedom, it's like, yes, I cried for this and I worked hard for this, but then it's like, wow, my freedom is kind of gone for a little bit. And like just
Mm. And
letting
you had
that
a
sink
taste of it.
in. Yes, I did have a taste of it for a few months there. And I'm like, oh, am I
Mm.
willing to give that up? Let me just give up medicine.
Wait, so honestly, I kind of want to talk about the whole loneliness thing because, like, I think that when we hear loneliness, we think, like, yeah, like, we all know what it feels like to be lonely. But, like, to really paint the picture, like, at what moments during this past week when you've been moving and you've been going to orientation, what are, like, the little moments where, like, you felt that loneliness the most? Is it, like, when you're eating meals or is it, like, how does that loneliness manifest? Like, how do you, in what moments?
That's a good question. Your um moments where I feel lonely would be moments where I am breaking down and there's no
Mm,
one around to hold me or to hug me or to tell me everything's gonna be okay. Going out and doing things alone. It's just different. I've done things alone before, but I feel like in this season, because it's such a big transition, just going out to buy groceries or just doing day-to-day activities, I just feel alone for some reason. It's just, I think it's because I've never been here before, and it is a
Mhm.
slower pace than I'm used to versus like Seattle or Oregon, or Portland, Oregon. And I'm just trying to get used to the pace. And so there's a lot of downtime that I've had the past week just getting settled where I was like, wow, I'm really alone and sitting alone with my thoughts. And that's when
Mhm.
I feel very lonely. And I also had a realization during this transition, who are my real friends and who are not my real friends too.
Oh, we so need to talk about that.
Yes.
How do you think during times of transition, how do real friends show up versus like not?
This is something that I've been thinking about a lot. Real friends will show up for you even at your most vulnerable, and they would go out of their way to make sure you're okay, especially because your closest friends will know what transition you're going through, right? They know you're about to enter this big journey because they should be your friends, and they end up kind of just watching from the sidelines, but not really interacting with you or just cheering you on or just they just stay silent. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're just like a ghost, um, watching you
It
but not
does.
cheering you on.
And I feel like, well, I have a question. Do you think,
Yeah.
because you mentioned like you feel loneliness in those times when you're breaking down and you have like no one there to help you? Like, do you think you're breaking down because you feel lonely? Like, it's kind of like which came first. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm, I feel like I am breaking down because I'm alone. There's this moment where I was just looking around my apartment and it's wow, I'm living alone, but I was looking around and I'm like, "Oh, where are my friends?" Um,
Oh.
because it's something that I've dreamed of, and you see on social media friends like helping each other move and being there for the huge milestones, and it's just like I'm my own friend.
I can definitely relate to that because I feel like in the beginning of starting schools, you feel very alone in a crowded room because it's like you're with other people during the day, but it's exhausting because like they don't really know who you are and you kind of feel like it's you against the world. But I promise you, like with time, I bet you by fourth year, like you posted that video, or you showed me at least, you sent me a picture of your apartment, of you in the
Yeah.
kitchen. I bet you by fourth year that kitchen's gonna be filled with friends, like studying together, making potluck dinners together. Like that's just who you are. Like it'll be filled before you know it.
Oh, I really hope so. I want to cry just because that is something that I dream of. I will say there are three people in particular who were constantly checking up on me. I wasn't completely alone, but it felt
Mhm.
alone because physically there was no one around
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like you I think it comes to a point where like you even when you have the support coming in from your loved ones, it's still the fact that like your voice is echoing in your apartment. It's still the fact that like you're scrolling on your phone and you're seeing stories of everyone resuming their normal life when you're like I feel like I got put on another planet.
That's exactly how I would put it too. You just feel like you're in a different, I feel like I'm in a parallel universe and I'm just starting anew and I just don't know anyone.
Mhm.
But I trust and believe in myself, and I'm open to making new friends. And I pride myself in being authentic. And so I know that being me will attract the right people.
Mhm. 100%. Can I ask too about like
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to unpack what you had said earlier about
yeah.
grieving like your ICU nursing and travel nursing days, like grieving that. I'm kind of curious like if you could just maybe unpack some of those emotions, like where do you think that's coming from? Because I was just so ready. Like so I keep comparing our experiences
Yeah, yeah.
and like I don't think I'm gonna have to ask Jimmy if I felt that way because I don't fully remember, but I don't think I grieved pharmacy in the same way in the slightest. I was like, bye. Um, but so that's why I'm curious. I want to like understand more about like
Mm.
what you're feeling with the whole identity shift.
For the longest time, for the past year, I'm gonna be honest about this and open about it. Didn't think I can take another day as a nurse. It was just I was getting I was just not feeling myself.
Mhm.
in my recent travel assignments, I saw, because working in the pediatric ICU, I saw kiddos
Mm,
die every week. And I just didn't think I could take another day of being a nurse. And I was honestly very ready. And the people around me, closest to me during that period, knew that I was ready to just check out.
mhm.
And I, I kind of feel ashamed and feel bad for saying that I couldn't take another day just because it wasn't something I lost love for nursing.
Mhm.
Although of course, when I come into work, I give my patients all my love and I do the best I can. But but I still didn't feel good, and so I was ready to check out. Like you said, I was like, get me out of here because
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. But then the thing that made me have a mental breakdown was the fact that I was starting a new career and this was safe, I guess. It was safe. It's easy to
Mm.
just go back and fall back to that role and just make money and not do this medical school thing because I was scared. And I'm terrified actually to start this long journey. And it also meant I had to sacrifice a lot of things. But
Mm.
then the biggest thing that I felt was shame and guilt for leaving. I felt guilty and shame because I'm leaving this noble profession to pursue, and I felt selfish in a way. I felt selfish because I just felt guilty for just leaving something that is someone else's like pride and joy.
Are you saying that you felt shame because you're like, why can't I love this enough? Because this is someone's
Yeah.
everything. Why can't this be
Yes.
enough to be my everything?
Yes, I felt guilty and shame because I'm leaving a stable career that it's someone else's love and pride and joy and something that people have done for years, like 20, 30 years.
Mm.
And I'm leaving that. And I fear sometimes what people think about me, and I don't want people to think that I think I'm better, and that's not my intent. My intention is to show people you can do whatever you set your mind to, right? A lot of people think in fear, and that's why a lot of people don't pursue what they truly want to pursue. And that breaks my heart because we've been there. We've done like, you've done pharmacy, I've done nursing, and during the thick of it, we're like kind of struggling. This is not what we want to do, but then we're scared and then we
To
don't
be
see
working
any.
so hard for something you
Yeah,
don't want to do is like hell.
yeah. Yes, that is so difficult. And I don't want anyone to go through that. So I'm like, screw the fear. Just go out and do it. And it's going to be difficult no matter what. But do you want to live this life, mundane life, and settle? Or actually pursue something and realize your potential and what you're made of? I'm not bashing anyone who decides to be a nurse or a pharmacist or a dentist. It's your choosing, and it's never truly settling. But for someone out there who has that thought of moving on and wanting to do something different, don't settle. Go for it. You have that thought for a reason. Listen to it.
That's so powerful. You had that thought for a reason. Listen to it. I think that I think that you and I's story is actually very triggering for a lot of people, and I think that's why people lash out or act that way is because it's triggering for someone because I think deep down inside we all have our version of like in your situation the nursing and we all have our version of the medicine. For someone else it's someone stuck in like an accounting job and they
Mhm.
dream of becoming like an engineer. I know those are two random
Yeah.
examples, but everyone basically has where they are right now and then where they want to be. It's just some people never make the leap. So if you're stuck never making the leap and you're looking at other people making the leap and they made the leap and they made it across the other side, that feels really crappy. And so I think the way that a lot of people cope is like, I don't like those feelings of jealousy. Or for me actually I felt that way before I went for the leap for dentistry. I remember like those were really ugly feelings to feel like, oh, I wish I could do that. But then I realized my real fear was like actually pursuing it and like getting it done.
Mm,
So I think for a lot of people, what holds them back is the fear is not the fear of staying where they are. That's the price that they pay. Their
mm.
fear is like, oh, what is it going to look like when I have to get that done? That means I'm going to have to work harder. That means I'm going to have to give up my cushy job. That means I'm going to have to move far away from everyone I've ever known. And to some people, that's too much to bear. So they'd rather just pay the price of just staying where they are. But that's why they're so triggered by this type of story,
I couldn't
I
have said
think.
that any better myself. You're very great at articulating things. So I just want to say that. Um,
Oh, thank you.
and
You're
everything you
so
say
sweet.
resonates with me because we are kind of the same person. We're like living parallel lives. It's unfortunate that people also aren't open and they don't realize that subconsciously, those things are going on and they end up lashing out and not going for something that they can potentially achieve. And like you said, honestly, no one wants to put in the work now.
On the flip side, it's hard sometimes when you're such a positive person, like it's gonna like trigger someone, it's gonna be like showing off. And I think that's the problem is it's hard. I'm figuring this out myself, Vincent. Like, how do you
Yes.
navigate being authentic to yourself and sharing your joy and light, but then also trying to be it's stupid. Maybe this is the people pleaser in me, but like a part of me feels like I have to be respectful of the people that are like not as happy. I don't know.
I am a people pleaser myself, and I do care what people think, but then I'm like, wait, everything that I have done to get to where I am today, you guys didn't, no one did it for me. So I'm allowed
Right.
to be a little obnoxious sometimes and be happy and
It's
giddy
not even
and
obnoxious though.
yeah,
But to us it seems it
yeah,
because maybe that's what
yeah,
we're around.
yes. I guess I'm just calling myself obnoxious sometimes, or being too much. But yeah,
Yeah.
because some people are like, "Whoa, you need to calm down. It's not that
You hit
deep."
the nail on the head. That's exactly how I feel is like sometimes I worry. I'm like, am I being too much?
No, you're not being too much. I do practice this where I tell myself, like, since I have a lot of alone time and a
You're like,
lot of
since I
alone
only talk to myself right now.
Yeah, since I only talk to myself, I do make a practice every day. I try to rewire my brain or how I think, right? So not all of our thoughts are true, right? A lot of our thoughts are
Mm,
just from externally what we hear and what we take in, right?
the being
And
too
so,
much, the being
yes.
obnoxious.
Yes, and there's a lot of people that have caused us that in the past. So just learning to differentiate that and just rewriting our story, right? Giving yourself a new narrative. So I'm like, no, I'm not too much. I am put on this earth because there's only one Vincent, and that's special. So I would never want to dim my light for anyone
Mm,
because I'm special and there's only one me. And that's such a valuable resource on this earth. And it's not being narcissistic or
mhm.
self-centered. It's to allow myself to love me for who I am and to give myself some grace when I am negative or hard on myself. Does
Mm.
that make sense at
A
all?
100%. I think giving yourself grace is something that's it's ironic because I think for a lot of high achievers, giving yourself not giving yourself grace is actually what pushes you to get to a certain point. Like being hard on yourself gets you those early A's. It gets you those high achieving
Yes.
things. But then once you get to the place, it actually is the thing that holds you back because you can't have that negative self-talk anymore. And it's such a double-edged sword.
What a balancing act too with all of that and
Honestly, it goes back to it's whiplash. It's like 1 second I'm like
yeah.
just a constant whip.
That's why
It's
it's kind of
exhausting.
exhausting to be us, right?
It is so exhausting. Also, Vincent and I always joke that we're type C because we're
Yeah.
like so type A that we also have to be type B and do everything because like when I'm type B, I'm very type B. Like
Yeah. Eh,
but like there's like some things
yeah.
that I'm very type A about.
Yes. Yeah. I posted that on Instagram one time. I
Uh-huh.
think you remember. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
such a type B person, but type A goals. And I had a lot of DMs saying, what does that even mean? And I'm like, oh, you guys just don't.
People don't get it? Wait, what is wrong
People,
with people? They don't get
no,
it?
it's actually not common, I guess. People don't understand that. I'm like,
I
if
thought
you
everyone was
ask,
like us.
Cause right? People close to me and they're like, "You're definitely not bare minimum, or and you're very type A." I'm I'm like, what? I just don't. I'm not. I'm very chill when it comes to making plans or just outside of academics
Uh-huh.
and work. I'm just very chill, and that's where the type B comes from. But then
Mm-hmm.
because I want to achieve all these things and to prove myself, that's where the type A comes, and to be
Totally.
special.
Yes. Oh my God, Vincent, I
I
have
want to be
this too.
special.
We have a special. Is that why we're like this? Is that how we're
Yeah.
like going into all these degrees? Is because we just have a special complex?
Yes.
Because I'm the same way. Because I'm like, no, like I'm so type B. I'm not gonna do an assignment the second it's due. I'm gonna do it like I'm gonna wait until the end. But then
Yeah.
I also want to be the best one of the class, so I'm gonna go so
Yes.
hard and like make
Yeah.
myself suffer the night before so that it's perfect. And then everyone's gonna go, wow, you're so on top of it. And only I know that I actually did it like the day before.
The day before. That's
Yeah.
so funny. I'm exactly the same way too. I'm like, no, I'm chill, but then low key, it's like, no, I'm like competitive, and it's all about. I guess my life purpose is to be special, and
Yes, I hate this about myself though because it makes me like make so much things harder for myself.
yes, yes, it's like, why can't we just chill?
Why
Actually,
can't
be
I just be
type B,
happy?
and
Yeah.
be happy.
Wait, that is so true. I'm like, if I was really typey, I would be happier, like not forcing myself to have the best this or the most unique that. Like, it's just exhausting. No, 100%. I think that maybe like we associate so much of our identity with being special and being different.
Yeah,
So then we have a complex where if we're not the most special or unique, then
yeah.
it's like, who are we? Like, then we mean nothing if we're not.
Yeah, woe is me. I'm not good enough. I
That's so funny. I was literally just talking to my boss about this. I'm like, I think I have a problem. I have a complex, and it's that I need to be different, and I hate this about myself.
yeah,
But even that is something, is me pretending like I'm different because maybe
yeah,
everyone feels this way. Like maybe we're not like that special. I
yeah.
don't know.
But I want to be special, Connie. I'd worked so hard to be special.
That's
I
our
just
life's
want
mission.
recognition.
No, literally. Wait, Vincent. Okay, hold on. I need to ask you
Yeah.
this. Do you know your astrology chart? So, for the audience that's listening, I just dissected Vincent's birth chart for like 15 minutes, basically. So, anyways, thank you so much for this episode, Vincent. It was like it's always therapeutic to hear you speak. I don't know what it is. Every once in a while, not every guest has this. I'm willing to actually say this is the most rare type of guest that I have. Where wait, oh my god, this totally strokes your special complex about having to be special. um but no, literally you are so special because you are the like a very rare subsect of guest where no matter what, I don't have to have questions ready because I know no matter what you say, it's so vulnerable and authentic, and you're not afraid to go there and bring up the things that everyone is thinking but no one is saying. So thank you, because you just make my job as a podcast host so easy. I'm just talking to you, I don't have to lead or host or anything, so thank you.
I'm sorry for being too deep. I'm just that type of person. I
Oh
get
my
deep
gosh,
real
no.
quick.
You are my favorite type of person, Vincent. It's therapeutic to hear people like you speak because anyone listening feels so seen when they hear you speak. They're like, oh, I feel that way too. Everybody knows what it feels like to be lonely or to mourn the loss of an identity or to have a special complex or, like all of that. Actually, maybe not because we're special. But
Yeah.
um but if you could just leave with everyone where they can find you and reach out to you if they have any questions.
Yeah, if you guys resonate with everything that I've said today and want to follow me, feel free to look me up on Instagram at Scrubs and Musings.
Thank you so much for everyone for listening. If you like what you heard, please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.